true.
Yeah.
Speaking of big muscly people, let's talk about Tilo 2. Tilo 2.
Oh, you didn't like Abby. I loved Abby. You hated her.
I didn't hate her like the internet hates her. So before
Right.
anybody like comes at me like I'm some like douchebag,
No, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
I
That's
I didn't hate her. With the whole spoiler stuff that came out.
all right. We're spoiling it now. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
So
Well, much.
initially, everybody thought that Abby was the trans just because she had
She
these
was
big
jacked.
muscles,
Yeah.
jacked up. And then for stereotypical reasons, I can see why they would think that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's never the problem that I had with the game. Like it was never just the fact of that, or but I did feel like there was some subtext secretly hidden behind everything in regards to the decisions that they made. And I do
Right.
feel like the ending was a little bit of padded on because they didn't feel like the ending that they initially chose was a strong one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like it was supposed to end at the theater where Abby shoots Tommy and then lets Ellie go, and Ellie just loses.
Yeah. Because that was one part. I was like Abby's dialogue there, where she was like, "Don't let me see you again." I was like, "That's wicked fucking cheesy for dialogue."
Very
But the
cheesy.
fact that it went on after, I was like, "Oh, thank God," because you needed to at least redeem that piece of dialogue.
But
But in terms of,
that's the thing though. I just felt like it wasn't redeemed. Like you know what I mean? Like
uh,
they went through this whole thing of her showing her having a beautiful life because she just let it go, and then Tommy
right,
coming back and saying I can't do it, was true. He couldn't because he was all
right,
fucked up. His wife already left him. His brother's dead, and the person that promised him that would do get an eye for him is
right,
over here playing mommy and daddy. You know what I mean?
right.
After getting the person who's the father of the kid killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because technically, yeah, it was pretty much her fault, right? Because she left the little crumbs to her for her to find her back, but she left the map. Perfect place to forget to say, you know what? I'm gonna leave this map here. I've held this map this whole time, and
right,
the map was only usable for like 10% of the time that I got it.
right,
After I went to fuck Fedra, the map was pretty much useless. But I'm gonna keep
right,
this map until this very moment and leave it on the ground so people know exactly where I was before and
right.
can kind of relate me to the specific incidents that happened during the course of the 3 days and see
Yeah,
exactly where I'm hiding at. You know what I mean? Like it
yeah.
was
That was like,
kind of lazy. I felt.
yeah, it was like. I mean, it was the Deus Machina thing that
Yeah.
they just kind of do, but I mean, I get that. I didn't really focus on that because I feel like anything, like how did Jesse even find them? You know what I mean? So you
Right.
can do how did Tom? It's like that's just a part of narratives. If you're gonna tell a narrative, like you have to throw in those things. But yeah, I can see how that could be viewed as lazy. I didn't even think about that. But the only I I thought it should have ended when it cut back to the dance when Joel stepped in and she was like she told Joel off and that I figured that was her last words. Like and that was the whole arc where they would never got redeemed. But I
Yeah,
felt like
that'd
if
have
it
been
ended there,
interesting.
I feel like if it ended there, it would have been a more cohesive narrative. And it did feel like it kept going on to that Lord of the Rings end, but I do feel like the water fight scene at the end was good and I feel like that scene was justified. I just feel like they did everything. They went too far to get to that
Right.
because you built these two characters up. Because I liked Abby. I thought she was. I mean, at first it was like, oh, they're making you play as this person, but Joel wasn't like the guy.
Yeah, he was a bad
The
guy. He had a
open.
bad past.
Well, it's not even that. They opened the thing. They opened the whole game with that scene where it's like it clearly puts him in a perspective where you're like, I didn't really think of it like that. Where he like lied to Ellie. He robbed her for his own selfish reasons. He lied to her, robbed her life of meaning, and he just murdered a room full of surgeons that could have saved the world. So it's like, and they even show that like
Yeah.
Tommy goes, Tommy goes, what did you do? And he just said, I saved her. And it cuts to the scene where it's just blood splattered fucking everywhere.
Right.
And it's like, it was, you had to see that Abby was totally justified
Oh yeah.
in
I
killing
mean,
him.
no, I see. The thing is,
But
I didn't have a problem understanding
yeah,
Abby's role and Abby's
right,
needs. But
Mm.
what I felt like, they just made her a unstoppable force
Yeah.
that there was never going to be any type of resolution. Like, even
Right.
in the ending of the game, there's not a resolution. Like, you have some idea and everything like that, but like,
Yeah.
it feels like not only were you kind of forced to play this character that a lot of people didn't want to play as, especially after you
Right.
got to kill Joel, after they killed
Yeah.
Joel. After Joel was nothing but nice to her and saved her life. Yes, he did kill her
Yeah.
father, but she was about to die. He saved her life. That should have been like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Kind of,
Yeah.
you get what I'm
I
saying?
get,
Like,
I get, I get that.
you
Yeah.
get what I'm
But the
saying?
whole,
Like, but that's just the world it is, though. That's the thing, though. That's
yeah,
the world right now. Like, yes, these people, everybody, every single character in that game has killed people ruthlessly, just as bad as
right.
Joel. Every
In
single one
just
of
in
them.
every one of, I think the one thing about the game too was everybody does horrible things, but if you were that person, you would have done that exact horrible
Right,
thing, which was
right,
what I thought they did really successfully as a game.
right.
Because it was like, yeah, Joel did that, but obviously I would have, I wouldn't let them, if I had a second chance at like being a father and I just was starting to get past that,
Right.
I would do it. Of course anybody would.
Right.
If you were
You
Ellie,
don't
you would
lose
go on a
lose a
quest.
daughter twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you would never do that. If you were Abby, you would hunt down. If you had a chance to find the guy, you would hunt him. If you were Ellie, you would fucking track down everybody that made you lay there while you fucking watched your father
Right.
get. It's like that was the weird. That's what I think Naughty Dog didn't get enough credit for was they put a ton of things together. Like there was a ton. I do think that the narrative structure was fucked up at the end. It
Right.
felt forced, but I liked it. I still liked the gameplay.
I like the gameplay. I'm not gonna
And
say
I-
that the
and I-
game like the with,
and
the,
I
with
like-
those clickers that you can get make go loose and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And the
no,
Scarface mansions and shit like
the
that.
rattle, yeah, I actually thought that was some of the best gameplay of the game because you could just go fucking ham and just go around. I
Right.
thought that was my favorite level was the rattle level, and
Right.
I loved the ending. Like that, just she saves Abby, brings her, and she's like, I can't let you go. I don't know. That whole thing was just
I don't like that.
better
part.
than a video game ending. I thought.
I didn't
It
like
was
that part. Like the gameplay itself, that fight reminding me of the God of War last boss Ares in the first God of War
Right.
game, where they're both giants and they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
It just reminded me to a lot of that. So it wasn't like nothing like breathtaking to me, you know.
Right.
And then also, I just felt like, okay, you came all the way there to kill her, right? And then you
Yeah.
see that she's already dying for her own reasons, her own stupidity, her own naivety, right?
Right.
Leave her there.
Yeah.
Just leave her. That means
Yeah.
you didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And what kind of guilty conscience do you have? She could kill Joel. You could tell Tommy, yeah, she's dead.
Right.
But you don't
Yeah.
have that. You don't have to need that need that of revenge because it's karma took care of it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
But
fate took
I
care of it.
I mean, yeah, I thought that's what was going to happen. But then the fight to the death because, like, I actually really liked both of them. Like, I liked Abby. Like, when you're trying to smash the square button to, like,
Right.
to
To
drown
choke
her,
her,
I just
drown her,
felt bad doing it. I was like, I don't want to do it. And, like, that's what Naughty Dog wanted. And I think half the people felt that and half the people didn't. And that's kind of the polarization of this game is that the people that really liked Abby liked the game. The people that were like not that sold on her didn't like because I didn't want. I thought the game would have been ruined if she killed Abby. If she did it, I was like, oh, dude, I'll be pissed.
I also feel
But
like
then
some people who are championing the game are very like social justice warrior-y. So as long as that's part of the narrative, like they want to support it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just for
I
that,
don't-
blindly support it and not like ignore the fact that there's flaws of the story. Just because
Yeah.
there's this type of character going on and feminism and everything like that, they're just pushing it in your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once again, like I want to clarify, there's nothing wrong with it. I totally love feminism.
Yeah, Dave's a good guy. He knows he's not. This is all about the narrative part of it.
I'm very like moderate in that whole situation where like
Yeah, he's way more
try to-
progressive than I am. I'm pretty progressive, but Dave's progressive.
Yeah. Adam blows my mind sometimes, but like I try to look at both the ways. Like I can see this. I can see where Abby represents the feminist icon. That feminist
Right.
icon with the muscles and the band.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And the fact that she's killing this straight white man, and I can see where
Right.
people are getting like taking those cues. Like, yeah, I see it. I can see it.
I can see-
I like
yeah.
puzzles. I could take it apart and see that.
Right.
But
I
then-
can see how people saw it through that lens, but even though everyone was pushing that, I didn't feel that lens. I felt like the muscular part of Abby, now I'm going to go into the narrative function parts of it. It served a couple purposes. One, a very simple one, was you build her up so it shows how tortured and emaciated she is at the end when she's crucified on that.
Yeah,
so it functioned well on that because it showed the deterioration of her.
Right,
so
and then it showed her that she's now down to the level of Ellie, and Ellie
she's
can finally
like
actually take her.
a normal sized person. I felt like that was one of the reasons, functionality of that as a narrative point, that we need to show how much she's been suffered at this place, and that therefore it'd be bad if Ellie didn't just let her go. So I feel like functionally that worked, but it also built.
So you think that her suffering kind of like makes up for her killing Joel?
No. I think story-wise, why they made her so jacked was that she needed to be noticeably big. So when Ellie shows up and she's on that post,
she's a problem.
She's noticeably tortured and
right.
emaciated and starved and brought down to a point where Ellie has an unfair advantage almost because she hasn't just been crucified, literally, and tortured. So it's like, I feel like when you wrote it, they were like, we need to have a mechanism to show how bad off she is when Ellie gets to rescue her. But I also think that it built Abby's character in terms of they showed her in flashbacks where she was normal fit size.
Right.
But then, like, she was jacked, so it showed that she just was so obsessed and dedicated with tracking down a grown adult male that she built and dedicated her life to becoming physically strong enough to take on. Like, Joel's a big kind of brawny dude. Like, right. So it showed her that, like, she was so obsessed with getting him, and it just consumed her life where she literally just packed on muscle and strength to track down this guy. And so I feel like, I
wonder how much like rations she took out from people to get those gains, though. You know what I mean?
She got gains. She was big.
Big. You know, like there's not lots of food. I mean, well, they got that stadium with the farms and stuff like that.
Yeah, they had it.
Where she getting all that protein?
He was hitting those.
They weren't making protein shakes anymore. Maybe she found like a factory of like all like gain protein shakes or something like that.
She put on gains. But I do think you have to, the people that are missing, that they're like, oh, it's the feminist. I think you have to look at narrative functionality and why they did certain things. And I feel like that building her character as an obsessed person, trying to get built enough to build a, that's not in the game. That's something you have to like imply through story mechanisms where you have to figure that out. And then it shows her. So I think those two things played into it more than people are giving Naughty Dog and Druckmann credit for. Like, he does know how to put together a song better than any other video games. So I think
I don't know if this is a rumor though, but like supposedly Arnita Sarkeesian had something to do with the game too, and with the narrative and stuff like that. So I could see how what the other people are saying too, with some of the little subtle like things that they put in the game to like hint at those type of things. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know anything about her. But
I don't know.
You look her up. Like it's all over the internet. Like she's like this. She tries to be this big feminist icon, and then like she kind of like, but she's like super like where even like feminist friends that I have say she's a little bit too much. You know what I mean? You know how every kind of like group of people with a certain train of thought, there's always an extreme of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I do
political, religious, and any type of even LGBT views, straight people views.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
People,
feminists.
Everything gets taken the extreme.
There's always extremes in everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So not one point of view is completely correct. It's just always somebody from that point of view sect that is a little bit too much. Like I'm more of a Democrat, but like he sees liberal shit that I'm like, the fuck are you guys talking about?
Oh yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I know. I think I'm kind of outside the political circle, but I hear you on that. But it's like I think there was a lot of flaws in the pacing of the game, and I could see how people got mad about some stuff, but I don't think people are giving enough credit to do for some of the really brilliant stuff Naughty Dog did with that game. And I think like for me, there were times where I was like, it dragged on at the end, but I felt like what they did right over compensated for a lot of the flaws.
Right. One thing I will say, 100% the gameplay is amazing. Gameplay,
Awesome, off
I
the
had
charts,
had
best
so much
gameplay I've
fun
ever
playing the
seen.
game.
Yeah,
So much fun, and and it didn't get too repetitive because there was definitely like parts to shake it up. Even with
yeah,
the
they
like the Rat King dude, that's like Resident Evil style. That was
yeah,
like
I
a
know.
favorite of
They
mine right
did
there. They
do a
switched it up
lot of.
there.
They filled 30 hours with, and it didn't feel repetitive at any point.
No.
That's a good point. Like that was 30-hour game, and never did it feel repetitive.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right. Like you didn't even like pick up a ladder until like 18 hours of the game. And
right.
before, if it
Yeah,
was T-Lu 1, a ladder's the first thing you pick up in the first 2 minutes.
that's all you do. Yeah,
All you do is pick up
it
a
was like a
ladder.
15-hour
Pick up your
game.
ladder, put it here,
Yeah, it's
climb up,
like
and take
yeah,
forever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I like the game. I'm in the camp that I thought it was just off the charts. Like, but I get how some people not. I feel like they
I
have to make a third now. They need a third. They need Ellie to kind of come off with a redemption arc and to have some sort of purpose. It'd be weird to not do a 3 at this point.
the one big thing I just felt like it makes you like Ellie less at the end. You know what I mean? I feel like people really care about Ellie, and then at the end you're like, Ellie, you fucked up, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I get it.
but
Like, that's part of the story. It's like fucking
she
up.
was human though. She was flawed.
Right.
That's what they were all human. That's what they think the game
But
really.
people don't
touched
want
upon.
that when they play games. They don't want to feel that.
Yeah,
Kind of.
I know.
They want to.
Yeah, I think his biggest problem with the game was he aimed for the high seats, and it's like it's a video game.
Yeah.
You can't aim for the high seats because
Right.
like you're not gonna hit that target audience that are just A to B narrative. I want the gameplay. When he's just like trying to make social points, which I thought he made. I thought the themes and social points they made were fucking fire. Like I loved it. Like
Right.
like one of the major themes that people didn't realize that not people talked about was like how dangerous it is to subscribe to like groupthink
Mm-hmm.
in time and when things go bad. Like when society, that's what everything turned into us versus them groups, and it was
Right.
always like an ideologue in charge of each one. And it's like that's what Abby broke from at the end. She was like, she realized it was just subscribing to that groupthink was just bad. That's why she ended up
Right.
with that one and was like, "You're my people," because she just.
Right.
And that's why I think, and I also think like that's why
I
she's
did
the
like
one
that
who
part.
came out of the game with she got in the boat, left happy because she's the one who figured out like it's bad to go on single revenge missions, but it's also bad to just blindly follow group. There needs to be an in between if you want to be a normal moral human being.
Right.
And it's like Ellie never subscribed to the group, so she didn't. There was no in between. It was just self-destructive revenge mission that just never had a course correction for her to bounce it off and say neither of these are good. Whereas Abby said there's a thing there that is the right thing, and
Right.
Ellie just didn't. She never felt a part in Jackson because she had this secret. Joel lied to her. She just was an outsider. Her life had no purpose. She had no binary thing to balance off her morality off of. I don't know. That's how I ended the game off. That's why Abby made good and Ellie didn't. She just, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could see like it's definitely different than the norm. You know what I mean? But there's nothing wrong with how things has worked before, where like the revenge finally gets gotten. And then this is the end of the story. Like Kill Bill. If she didn't kill Bill and it's in the fucking title, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That people would have fucking
yeah.
revolted. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, Bill had it. He deserved it.
Exactly.
That's
That's the
absolute
thing.
Fucking monster.
but that's the point.
You know
But
what
that's
I
the
mean?
point,
Like,
though. If you think
Yeah.
about it, like, you know what I mean? Like, Joel deserved it. Yes. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you play this game after what he just did and all the things he did, if he doesn't get killed before he gets super old, then,
Right.
it's, how? He's untouchable then. You know what I mean?
Right.
But instead of Joel being untouchable, they make Abby untouchable. So now, like, Abby
Right.
survives all these situations. She survives almost getting killed by her own people, the wolves. She survives
Right.
almost getting killed by the
Seraphites.
Seraphites. You know, she survives Jackson dudes and
The
actually,
Rattlers. Yeah.
the
She's just,
Rattlers. She's just God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's even
Yeah.
on a cross at the end of the game.
Yeah, I know. They did put it. I didn't really think about
You
that.
know what I
That's a
mean? Think about
really
it.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a
You know
good
what I
point.
mean? Like,
Yeah. I guess if you can make a point of any feminism in the game, it's that. I don't think it's the thing people are calling feminism.
no.
Because like
I think they're
that's
talking. Well, I think they're talking outer shell. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
I can notice little things. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That
that's
like,
if you're gonna make a pitch for feminism in that game, that's a good pitch. Anything I've seen so far from some of these YouTubers, they're just attacking superficial things that
right,
only simple-minded people attack.
right,
You know what I mean? Like
right.
you can make that point.
They're
So
going off
that's
a
a
glance. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's a pretty solid point. But like the whole thing, like, oh, like it's a social justice game because the two lead characters are female. The two lead characters go on self-seeking, self-destructive revenge missions that gets everybody they know and love killed. Like, there's nothing like, oh, they're heroes. There's nothing heroic about those two.
No.
So if you're trying to say like,
even when she finds the people that she's going to kill, they make it a situation to where it's like, this is like real. Like, you're gonna fucking do this.
Yeah, you're gonna do this. Like,
you know, that girl that you kill in the hospital and stuff like that, you have to press square every time you hit her with the crowbar.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
The lights are flashing red and everything like that. Like,
yeah,
it's rough. You know what I mean? Like, you want,
like
you want to do it. You're like, yeah, you're getting your revenge, but at the same time, you're like, I'm a fucking monster.
Yeah, what a fucking like that's what.
You know what
that's another thing. No games ever had that impact where I was like, oh man, I don't feel good doing this, but I loved it that a game could get that reaction out of it because I like tragedy.
Because you don't get the Sonic the Hedgehog situation where you kill an enemy and they blow up and turn into a cute monster that you escape. That you released from destroying the robot shell that they're in. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You know, you don't get that situation. Like, these motherfuckers are dead, and they might have kids. They might be the kid of somebody, and you never know. You know, maybe somebody's significant other, somebody's favorite dog. Like when you find out that you're the one to kill Alice.
Yes, I know. That was
when
they
see what they did there. I was like, she's gonna die, isn't she?
She stabs the dog.
She already died. See, the thing is, like, I looked at her. I'm like, she looks familiar. I'm like, that dog's gonna die.
The dog.
But then, but in the head, I'm like, oh, that's the dog that I killed.
Yeah, I knew immediately, and I was like, touche, Naughty Dog. That's a move. Yeah. That's a fucking move. Because I was like, I immediately saw that dog, and I was like, oh. Man, they're gonna make you love this fucking thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? You gotta play pets with it.
Shit. And yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
it's ridiculous, man. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's still a great game. I still say it's a great game. I feel like the plot was kind of a little shaky at times, a little lazy at times, and
it almost buckled under the weight of its own. It was so complex and layered that it almost buckled under the weight of it. It was kind of like, I feel like the Dark Knight Rises had that thing too. Like, it just tried to put too many things in that it almost just fell apart and didn't work, but it just pulled it off. And then the things that worked, and the things that didn't. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I also played it through old time, excited with the possibilities as far as gameplay in regards to factions, and trying to see what things are different and what things are new and what they'll incorporate in the game and stuff like that.
I was like, what's going to be a map in factions? Like, that's what I was like. It was
100%.
Like, yeah. Oh, I mean, they better make. I mean, I hope that's what I'm like. I hope all these idiots whining don't ruin it.
The part where you first meet the Seraphites they freaking bow and arrow you in the chest and stuff like that.
Oh, that's a cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that area, the park area with the woods and the parking lot. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite fucking games. The parking garage, the Seattle suburbs, and the Rattler thing, I felt like were the most fun gameplay in that because you could like. You couldn't run and gun, but you could run and gun more than you could in the first one. You could run, duck, go under a thing, throw a fucking bottle, smoke blast. I was like trying to use all the mechanics just because they were there. You know what I mean?
I did love I loved using the mines because I feel like intentionally they put it in the game that whenever a player puts a mine down, the NPCs got to walk towards it.
They had to, because they always did.
It was satisfying.
Dude, it was so brutal when it blew up too. Like you just saw like arms and legs and just blood splatter out. I was like, oh my fucking god.
The thing is, like, I did love the fact that like they made it intentional. Like you put this down, something's gonna walk towards it. Yeah. Because like you want to see it, and it never failed you. You never put it down. And you're like, fuck, I put it in the wrong place.
Yeah.
When you walk away, something's getting.
It's usually the dog too. And if you couldn't see it, you just see, And you're like, ah, man, I fucking.
Listen, I love dogs, but I had to put the dog out of this
Well,
out of
yeah,
this
dude, those
Mercy,
things were. Well, they were awful. They were just like
They're so
they
smart.
get us.
It's so
Yeah,
smart. I can't
the
like try.
AI was off the charts in
It,
that game.
yeah,
Insane.
it was pretty insane, and I did like how the AI had their own specific names for each other, like
Yeah.
June, Jeffrey.
Oh no, Jimmy's down! Get over here, Jimmy's down! It's like, oh man, or you can shoot their leg and they drop down. That was the absolute fucking coolest. Like now, once I saw that gameplay and I didn't know you could do that, so I saw the clip on Twitter and I was just doing that. I was like, I'm gonna fucking shoot this leg. You shoot his leg out with a fucking silencer and he drops and you just run over and fucking hit him. I'm like,
Or you could just Molotov them while they're on their knees and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Like...
it was brutal. Yeah, the gameplay in that game was just.
They definitely gave you good opportunities. You know what they're gonna do a level of? The people are gonna hate the one where you can go into the water and you fall into the water and like swim into the other side.
Right,
That's
right.
super annoying. Like I really hope they don't do that level
as
a map.
Yeah, well they did that in Uncharted 4.
I just don't want them to bring anything Uncharted 4 into this. Like, do not bring anything you learned from Uncharted 4 into this. Like, start from Last of Us 1 factions and go from there. Forget whatever Uncharted 4 did, because whatever it did, it didn't do as well as what Last of Us did. It didn't have.
It was too convoluted. There was too much. That was the problem. They tried to get too fucking cute. They were just
too
like
magical.
Oh yeah, it was weird. It was like I just want to like track.
That you have to buy, like the fuck.
Yeah, I mean, which would be cool, but dude, it comes to a match. It's and everyone just starts throwing out totems. It's like, dude, I want to like track down fucking like work with like we have the crew that we like play it out. We know how we're gonna go in. We know we're gonna fucking take dudes out. You couldn't do that. And I'm trying. It was everyone just so fucking idle. It was like that evens the playing field, and which I get you want to do that, but you don't want to do that because the hardcore players like us that have fucking groups that have played, like we want to compete. Like we want to absolutely fucking embarrass you.
Yeah.
If you can't fucking hang.
And we want to do it without like using any purchasables. We want to be like so true to like
we want
the main core gameplay. Like this is the guns that came with the game. I'm not buying anything else additional. This is the gun I started the game with. I might upgrade it, but this is the gun I started the game with.
Oh yeah, you gotta upgrade it. Upgrade that burst. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stop shoot at 3. Upgrade that burst.
But I'm destroying you with these basic ass weapons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kill you with these things.
And then we just rag on people for like using precipitables, even though they're in the game.
Like, ha, shotgun, loser. Like, you
loser.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like, it's in the game. You don't understand. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you stop shivving for once? And I'm like, it's part of the game.
That's our name's the